Is good looks a free pass for bad behavior? On August 13th, in a busy shopping district in Shanghai, a group of people were waiting in line. A young woman, suspected of cutting in line, got into an argument with several men. A man dressed in black tried to mediate the situation, but ended up in a dispute with the woman. The woman arrogantly demanded an apology from him. In the video, the man in black said,
"We've been waiting here for 3 or 4 hours. I just saw someone causing a disturbance, and it really upset me."
When asked why she didn't want to wait in line, the woman responded, "Because I'm good looking, so I don't want to wait in line. You embarrassed me, so you must apologize." A group of onlookers jeered, "Is she a fairy?" The woman then hysterically screamed, "Whoever I point to must apologize to me. I've never been yelled at like this in my life. You must apologize." The man in black repeatedly apologized, yet the woman continued to hurl insults at him, drawing boos from the crowd. Next, the woman pointed at another young man in white and demanded an apology. The young man questioned. The woman, amidst laughter from the crowd, threw a tantrum and insulted him. "You are from a poor background. You are poor." Security personnel could be seen trying to defuse the situation, urging the men to apologize to the woman. Eventually, according to sources, the woman was taken away by the police. Commenters online expressed disdain, stating, "Get more education, don't let your appearance be the only thing you feel confident about." Chinese media outlet Red Star News reported that the incident took place outside the Chengde commercial neighborhood center in Shanghai. The night market there, developed and managed by Shanghai Yoxingde Business Management Company, aims to create a warm and emotionally engaging traditional food night market at the east gate of the neighborhood center. This night market had only recently opened and had attracted many young people looking for a late-night snack. In a statement following the August 14th incident, a representative from Yoxingde Business Management said that staff were present to maintain order during the event. "This happened in our market, and we certainly couldn't stand idly by," the representative said. When asked if the argument was related to queue jumping, the spokesperson declined to comment, saying, "I don't think it's necessary to explain. It's just a small argument between friends, and that's very normal." Online commentators remarked that the woman displayed a lack of manners, exposing her entitlement for all to see. Shanghai has been experiencing extreme heat lately, with temperatures soaring to 40 degrees Celsius daily. The sweltering weather seems to be making tempers flare, especially among Shanghai's women. In addition to this young woman who refused to queue, insulted others, and forced apologies, there have also been arguments over dog walking and street fights, 3 incidents in a single day, all of which garnered significant online attention. Netizens have observed that Shanghai residents are showing unusually high levels of hostility lately. On August 14th, in yet another incident in Shanghai, a woman was walking her dog in a residential complex when her pet urinated on a car's tire. The car owner, who witnessed this, asked the woman to clean it up. The woman initially quarreled with the owner, then offered to transfer money to him, but the owner refused, insisting that she clean up the mess. The situation escalated into a heated argument. The exchange went as follows. "What do you want me to do?"
"Clean it up."
"With what?"
"I don't care what you use, just clean it up."
I said, "Wait a minute."
"Now."
"Then call the police."
"Is this how you take care of your dog? Clean it up."
"Are you trying to bully me?"
"Aren't you the one trying to bully us? Your dog is always peeing and pooping on people's tires. Dog urine is corrosive to tires."
"Stop being unreasonable. I already told you I'll clean it up in a minute."
"I want you to clean it now. If you wait, it'll dry."
"So what if it dries? I'll clean it in a minute. There's no need to argue about this."
"Clean it now."
"Or I can just transfer money to you right now."
"No, clean it up now, or wash it off with water."
The woman became increasingly agitated, raising her voice and shouting at the man. "I already told you I'll clean it up or I'll transfer the money to you. Stop being unreasonable." The man grew angry as well, loudly demanding,
"Are you going to clean it or not?"
The woman snapped, "No way." Shortly after, a dog's bark was heard, possibly because the man had picked up a brick or or something similar to hit the dog. The woman then unleashed a tirade of insults at the man. According to online reports, the video was filmed and uploaded by the woman herself, likely in an attempt to gain sympathy and denounce the man's lack of manners. However, it sparked heated online debate, with many viewers siding with the car owner. Netizens criticized the woman's behavior, pointing out that she never apologized and could have easily pulled the dog away to prevent it from urinating on the tire in the first place. They likened her attitude to the so-called fairy from the queue jumping incident, who believed her good looks exempted her from civilized behavior. The video attracted tens of thousands of viewers, comments, and shares. Netizens overwhelmingly supported the car owner, expressing frustration with irresponsible dog owners who don't clean up after their pets during walks. Others ridiculed the woman's attempt to turn a small issue into summer's biggest nuisance. Reportedly, the woman later called the police. August 14th continued to be a dramatic day in Shanghai. Outside the Southern International Yuanxinhui in Fengxian district, a woman wearing a white top got into a fierce argument with a car owner after being nearly hit by the reversing car. She unleashed a barrage of insults in the Shanghai dialect. In the video, the woman can be seen simultaneously on the phone and shouting obscenities at the driver, claiming that since they were in Shanghai and she was a native, she couldn't allow a rural outsider to act recklessly on her turf. She then called the police, saying, "Hello, I'm dealing with a thug here. I don't know him, but he was driving and nearly hit me. He claims he didn't hit me, but I told him it was close enough. Please send the police over. I'm at the entrance of the Southern International Yuanxinhui. His car is still here, and I need the police to come now." After the call, the woman continued to hurl insults at the driver, repeatedly calling him a country bumpkin. The man responded, "Do you think you're better because you're from Shanghai? I don't want to deal with you anymore." The woman persisted, using profanities, and the man eventually warned her to stop. He asked,
Is this the kind of behavior Shanghai residents are known for?
Bystanders attempted to intervene and calm the woman down, but she continued her tirade of insults. Even when the police arrived, her aggressive attitude remained unchanged. The man stated,
She kept cursing, even after the police arrived. What's wrong with being an outsider? Does that make me inferior? Do I deserve to be insulted by someone from Shanghai just because of my background? I was reversing my car and I stopped far from her, without even coming close. Yet she knocked on my window and immediately started berating me, asking what I was doing in Shanghai as an outsider.
Netizens mocked her, saying, spewing profanities while calling the police on someone for being rude? What a high-class talent she must be. However, many Shanghai residents felt insulted by the incident. Not all Shanghainese are like this. This woman doesn't represent us. Some remarked that every place has its share of uncivilized people. Shanghai may be the pinnacle of China, but that's just the ceiling of a cesspool. What we see here isn't the darkness of a single region, but the darkness of hell itself. The poor behavior of Chinese people seems to be known worldwide. Even the state-run People's Daily and Global Times have acknowledged the lack of civility among Chinese citizens, often suggesting that this is why democracy isn't suitable for China. Some Chinese have questioned this contradiction. One said, "Hasn't the Communist Party always claimed that China has the best socialist system in the world? That we are on the most correct path? How come after several generations, civility is still lacking?" The answer, some argue, is that this lack of civility has been cultivated by the Chinese Communist Party, isolating the Chinese people from global norms to ensure their continued control and enslavement. Thus, the root of poor manners in China lies with the Communist Party itself. Writer Liu Yu once observed that Chinese people tend to ignore basic social norms, such as not lining up and disobeying traffic signals. Particularly, the reluctance to queue is so prevalent that she wished every shopping counter had a traffic officer. She noted that in Hong Kong and Taiwan, where people also live in densely populated areas, citizens line up willingly, proof that adherence to rules is not something inherently alien to Chinese people. The lack of civility in mainland China, Liu said, stems from the top. The behavior of officials is often frightening. One day you open a newspaper and read about a corrupt official being jailed for embezzling millions, and the next day you read about another corrupt official jailed for embezzling even more. These stories are endless. Liu suggested that this helps explain why ordinary people lack respect for rules. If those in power routinely engage in shady deals, disregard the law during land disputes, and continue to indulge in lavish government-funded banquets, how can we expect the general public to respect the rules? How can someone who defecates in the public teach others not to spit? Netizens echoed her sentiments, saying that when those with low morals lead China, high-minded individuals are often treated as outcasts and gradually disappear from society. The moral decay in China isn't surprising. When people without integrity lecture those who adhere to moral principles, the decline in societal ethics becomes inevitable. When the public sees unethical individuals rising to success in various industries, the lofty talk of moral education loses its credibility and effectiveness. In China, the party reigns supreme, followed by officials. In a country where ideological conformity is mandatory, no one dares to claim higher morality than officials, except for the deceased. Any good deeds or accomplishments must be credited to the party and government, particularly to the first in command, or else one risks being labeled unpatriotic. On the other hand, any wrongdoing, whether it's fighting, theft, gambling, or corruption, is conveniently blamed on Western conspiracies, and anyone who denies this is labeled a traitor. In such a system, society mirrors its leaders.
China's societal morals have been in free fall, and 3 infamous phrases have set the country's civility back by 50 years. 1. If you didn't hit them, why would you help? This led to a situation where people stopped helping anyone who had fallen out of fear. 2. They hit you, so why did you fight back? As a result, when people are attacked, they no longer dare defend themselves, as fighting back is labeled as mutual assault. 3. Why were you the only one beaten? Surely you provoked them. This has led to countless children suffering silently from bullying in schools, unable to speak out, which has driven some to extreme actions. These 3 phrases, uttered by judges, have led to the decline of civility in China by 50 years.
Years ago, in Nanjing, a young man kindly helped an elderly woman who had fallen after getting off a bus. However, the woman accused him of knocking her down and demanded compensation. When the case went to court, the judge asked the young man, "If you didn't knock her down, why did you help her?" Ultimately, the young man was ordered to pay tens of thousands of yuan for assisting the elderly woman, which set a precedent of indifference across China. A young man suffering from a heart attack collapsed face down by the side of the road, his body twitching uncontrollably. As the man lay on the ground, an electric scooter passed by. The rider glanced at him but quickly left, considering it none of his concern. Another electric scooter with 2 passengers came by next, but they also passed without stopping. The third person on an electric scooter approached a fallen young man, seemed to contemplate helping, but then turned away and rode off. Shortly after, a 4th person riding a small tricycle passed by indifferently. The 5th person, like the others, simply walked away without a second glance. The entire video was heart-wrenching. After decades of communist rule, the mentality of the Chinese people has become distorted. Indifference towards others coexists with a deep-seated hostility between individuals. Even state-run media lament that societal conflicts in China have become so entrenched that civility and respect are breaking down, with people losing their temper over trivial matters. The virtues of a courteous and civil society seem to have vanished. Some have said that this society is ill and its people are suffering. Some people's breakdowns are visible on the surface, while others are hidden deep within. Although these people may seem normal, their negative emotions accumulate over time, ready to explode at the slightest provocation, leading to random, senseless harm. In Communist China, society is one where values have collapsed and beliefs have been lost. Years of education centered around hatred, violence, and materialism have twisted the mindset of many. Whether it's nationalists causing trouble abroad or senseless arguments between people at home, these are expressions of personal despair and repeated disappointment in societal trust. On August 15th, a Chinese national protested in front of the Yasukuni Shrine in Japan, holding a loudspeaker and banner while shouting at nearby Japanese citizens, "You have no guts, you lack the courage of the Chinese." Netizens commented sarcastically, "You wouldn't even need to change the banner. If you could take that same banner to Tiananmen Square, then you really have guts. But you wouldn't dare. You only have the courage to express your anger and bravery in civilized countries." Recently, numerous incidents of Chinese nationalists causing disturbances in Japan have surfaced online. Many attribute this behavior to years of anti-Japanese education by the Chinese government. However, a deeper analysis reveals that this is just the means of venting frustration for many Chinese youths. They have been brainwashed by patriotic education, misguidedly targeting Japan and the United States as enemies, when in reality, their anger is misplaced. China is currently steeped in hostility. Young people see no future or hope. Vulnerable groups have no clear or effective means to seek help, and the accumulated grievances in society manifest in frequent violent incidents and a tense social atmosphere where everyone views others with suspicion. Overseas Chinese who have returned to China have noticed the overwhelming hostility in society. They remark that young people walking the streets often seem lifeless, many with no smiles on their faces. One returnee commented, "With many young people unable to find jobs or struggling in life, they feel if there's no hope." A young Chinese blogger also said that this generation of youth sees no future.
Why are today's Chinese youth so filled with hostility? It's because they face numerous challenges. On one hand, they are bound by their parents' traditional thinking, which influences their choices regarding careers, marriage, and other aspects of life, preventing them from fully pursuing their own desires. On the other hand, they are overwhelmed by the constant bombardment of information from the internet. Many of these young people work long hours, earning modest salaries of 5,000 to 6,000 yuan per month, while paying 4,000 yuan in monthly mortgage payments. They constantly worry about whether their apartment buildings will be left unfinished or if they'll lose their jobs. The pressure from various economic factors and other issues is pushing them to the brink. Yet on the internet, they see countless people living happy and prosperous lives. This stark contrast leaves them feeling deeply delusioned.
The Chinese Communist Party, which sees power through violence and maintains it through force, has eroded the innate kindness of the Chinese people. Those living under this regime grow up in an environment filled with lies and violence. How many can retain their humility, politeness, and kindness in such a place?